Today's video is sponsored by the Coldest Water. More on that in just a moment. Yo, what is going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to a brand new video. Today, I'm very excited to finally bring you guys some test hands with my brand new and updated build of Speedroids. Now, for those that want to see what my deck list looks like, I'm not going to be going over the list in this video. I just uploaded an in-depth deck profile about a week ago. So I'll leave a link to that video up in the top right hand corner of this video for you guys to check out so you can see what the deck list I'm using in this video looks like. And really quickly before we jump into the video, I'd like to mention a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that is the Coldest Water. If you guys are interested in getting your hands on a very high quality metal and insulated water bottle like the one you see me holding here, then look no further than the Coldest Water. I mean, their name really is fitting. Their bottles can keep water cold for up to 36 plus hours. And let me tell you, nothing beats waking up in the morning to ice cold water, especially when it's been left out overnight and it's still cold when you take that first sip. I know personally that's one thing I've enjoyed the most about using this bottle the past couple months that I've had it. It's just, you know, the water inside stays cold for a very long time. It can also keep things hot on the inside too for about 12 to 13 hours as well for all you hot beverage enjoyers, so definitely consider that. And if you're not a huge fan of the design that I have here, don't worry. Their bottles come in all sorts of different colors and designs for you to choose from, and they also come in different sizes as well. So if you want to get your hands on one of their bottles and support the channel in the process, please don't forget to use the affiliate link I have found in the description below, because if you guys shop and check out using that link, a small bit of the revenue from your purchase will go right back into the channel, and it does help out a ton. Or you could simply use code WK at checkout to save 10% off your entire order and also support the channel. And if you guys want a chance to win one of their gallon water bottles, which retails for about $120 to $130, definitely check out the giveaway link down in the description below so you can enter to win one of those really nice, really big water bottles. So yeah, huge shout out to the Coldest. And again, guys, don't forget to use my discount code or my affiliate link down in the description to support the channel when you shop on the Coldest Water. So with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and shuffle up the deck here before we draw our first test hand. And I want to say there is a really special video coming out. I want to say either tomorrow or in like 2 days or so on the 25th, because I'm not exactly sure when this video is going to get uploaded. But stay tuned for that if you are a Speedroid fan. But let's go ahead and draw into our first test hand here. We're going to do all these test hands pretty much going first. But we do open, we do open what I would call a very unlucky hand. It's not a terrible hand though. I mean, at the surface we have 3 interruptions, technically 4 interruptions with the imperm. I mean, the way I would play this out would probably be just a normal attack a Tomborg and tag it out for something like a Duke or a Dice or maybe even Piper, and just set the duplicate imperm because we can banish the attack a Tomborg to go ahead and create an interruption there. We have the imperm negate, we have Ash Veiler. So that's 4 interruptions our opponent has to play through for us to draw into a wheel potentially. I mean, we could hold the duplicate too, I guess, and, you know, not put all of our eggs in one basket, so we at least have a discard in hand for the duplicate, or not the duplicate, for a potential wheel if we do draw it. So yeah, that was unfortunate. I probably would cut that out, but you know what, I'm just going to keep it in because, you know, those type of hands do happen. No matter, you know, what type of build you're playing, you're going to draw an unplayable hand every now and then. Just trying to keep it real with you guys. Let's go ahead and just shuffle the deck again really quickly and draw into another hand. Here we have Wheel, Tetherwolf, Nibiru, Hound, and a Marble Machine. So this hand suffers from the, you know, too many normal summons in the deck, but it just kind of is what it is. Like, we already have a really strong opening in that of Hound and Wheel. So right off the bat, we have 2 ways to play, and we also have a really strong defensive card in the form of Nibiru. So hard to really tell what I want to do exactly with this particular hand. Like, there's a lot of ways to play this out, so I'm going to take a moment to actually think about this. Alright, so after some consideration, I think the play here is going to be actually to normal summon the Tetherwolf and we'll activate its mandatory effect to go ahead and special summon a level 3 token when it is normal summoned. And the reason I'm doing this is because Tether Wolf won't actually burn any of our in-engine extenders and allow us just to go right into the rubber band shooter. So we're going to go ahead and link off the token and our Tether Wolf into a copy of the, like I said, the rubber band shooter here. And then from here, we can go ahead and actually activate rubber band shooter's effect, banishing a 7. And the reason I'm banishing a 7 here is so we can sort of use rubber band shooter in combination with wheel as like a double foolish burial. And you'll see what I mean by that in a moment. We're going to reveal Piper and Duke because no matter what card we get to hand, we can get it to the graveyard with the help of wheel, and we still have our additional normal summon to potentially use on either Hound or Marble Machine to get access to more extenders here. So let me just go ahead and grab a die, and we can go ahead and roll here. We'll do 1, 2, 3 Duke, 4, 5, 6 Piper, and we do get the Piper to our hand, and the Duke goes to the grave. So now at this point, we're going to go ahead and activate wheel, discarding the Piper, and we'll see what we get here. And we roll a 4. So at this point, I'm probably going to summon a Hound and a Dice. And the reason I'm summoning Hound is that way we can now commit our additional normal summon to the Marble Machine to get access to Tekatomborg. And also, you know, summoning out Hound here off of the wheel will also get the Hound engraved to be able to have, you know, as follow-up for next turn by having it in the graveyard, which is good. And we can also just save the Hound that we have in hand as follow-up too. So now from here, we are definitely in range to get Nibiru, obviously. And there's really not a whole lot we can do to play around Nibiru with this particular hand anyways. We did not see things like speed recovery. So we're just going to go ahead and just play this out like we normally would. We're going to go ahead and normal summon the Marble Machine, activating its effect here to go ahead and search out Tekatomborg. So after some thought, we do have a couple of options right now, which, you know, is always the case with this deck. And the one option I was looking at doing was synchroning the Marble and the Dice into Corkscrewder to search out a duplicate. We could then use the Duke to bring out Piper to get the max excavations I think we could get, which would be 3. And then we could synchro into Charge Warrior, draw another card, and then synchro into Baron. And basically end on our duplicate, our Nibiru, our Baron, plus whatever interruption we find off our Piper. So I think that's like a line that we could take. But I think right now what I'm going to do is special summon out the Tekatomborg, because as good as that sounds, also getting access to Hagoita sounds pretty good too. Not only is it a great extender, but it also offers really, really good follow-up. I'm probably just going to go ahead and summon another Duke here for follow-up, because I think like there's no real reason to kind of go for Car Turbo right here. So we're going to go ahead and synchro 5 into a copy of Hagoita. And then from here, we could easily synchro 6 into Charge Warrior with these two. And then we'll go ahead and pick up a draw here. Draw 1, we draw into another Tekatomborg. Not the best draw, but it's not the worst draw because it's a great follow-up for next turn. Then here we're going to go ahead and activate the Duke. And unfortunately, we have to bring out Piper first before we can bring out the Hagoita to get that extra excavate. So we'll take a look at the top 3 cards. Another Tekatomborg, a Car Turbo, and a Primitive Butterfly. I think it's a no-brainer. We do take the Car Turbo there. And we can actually go ahead and revive Hagoita now and Synchro 10 for Baron. And then we can go ahead and special summon the Car Turbo and Synchro for a copy of Crystal Wing. So just like that, we do have the 3 interruptions with follow-up. We can actually even use Baron here to go ahead and pop the Hound using its removal effect. That way we have Hound in graveyard as follow-up. And we also have another Duke engraved too, which is really strong. And we have Hound plus Tekatomborg in hand. And of course, we have the Nibiru in case anything goes wrong. There were definitely a little bit like safer ways to play out that hand, I believe, you know, when we just could have synchroed into Corkscrewder there and kind of, you know, made the Baron through the Charge Warrior and Piper draws and just kind of pass there. But I think this board is a little bit better as we do have a few more interruptions. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump into our next test hand. All right, so the deck has been shuffled. Let's go ahead and draw into our next test hand, where we have Ash, Marble Machine, Imperm, and a copy of Speed Recovery. So this hand is looking a little risky, because again, we only have one starter here with no other extenders. Some of these hands have just been very, very rough so far. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and normal summon the Marble Machine here, but I feel like we can definitely make something work here. And we're gonna go ahead and add Card Turbo, special summon the Card Turbo, and go ahead and link into a copy of Auroradon. Or not Auroradon, my bad. We're gonna go for a Rubber Band Shooter. And at this point, since we do have Recovery in hand, we can go ahead and actually banish a level 6 here. Because if we get lucky and don't get the Terror Top to our hand, we can actually just go ahead and revive it with Speed Recovery and use it as another extender and another way to be able to continue to play through possible interruptions in the form of like Nibiru, etc., etc. So let's go ahead and just cut the deck here, and we'll roll odds, Hound, even, Terror Top, and we do roll the even for the Terror Top as the Hound goes to the graveyard. So right now, it's kind of like business as usual. The classic banish a 7, get the Terror Top play, like we used to do with Yo-Yo. Kind of same play line here. So we're going to use our additional normal summon on the Terror Top. And this is going to go ahead and add us a copy of Tekatomborg. And then from here, we can go ahead and special summon Tekatomborg and tag this into... Well, there's actually something else we could do here too. We could actually go ahead and burn Speed Recovery, since this is already a very vulnerable hand as is. And we can bring out the Card Turbo. And then we can actually tag out this Tekatomborg into a copy of Fukimadoshi Piper. And we can basically get a draw 2 here to kind of fix our hand as much as we possibly can. So we're going to reveal 3, which I think is probably the max excavation we can get here. We reveal Tetherwolf, Nibiru, and Dice. I'll definitely take the Nibiru there. Since we already have another Marble Machine in hand. And then we can go ahead and Synchro 6 into Charge Warrior to go ahead and net another draw. And we find another Tekatomborg. And then we go ahead and Synchro 10 here into Baron de Fleur as a nice Omni Negate. And just like that, we have 3 interruptions in hand. We have Nibiru, Ash, Imperm, and we have Marble Machine plus Tekatomborg in our hand still as really, really good follow-up. We also have Hound in graveyard as follow-up and Speed Recovery. So doesn't look like much, but this is a 4 interruption board, and our opponent may have a pretty difficult time playing through it. And if they aren't able to completely OTK us, we do have a very, very good follow-up. Like I said, even in the standby phase, we can use Baron to go ahead and bring out the Terror Top if it's still there, or if we had to burn our Baron Negate. Maybe during the end phase or the end of main phase 1 to like hit a Nibiru, we can just bring back Piper during the standby phase of our opponent's turn. And yeah, that Piper excavation there could basically just act as another interruption that Baron would have been anyways had we not had to burn its negate at some point. So rather simple test hand there. Let's go ahead and reshuffle the deck. I'm probably going to pile shuffle this time around. And we'll see what we can make happen on our next hand. Alright, so the deck has been thoroughly shuffled. Let's go ahead and draw into our next test hand here and see what we can do. So far, pretty good test hands. We have Hound, Tekatomborg, Recovery, Nibiru, and Imperm. So I think like probably one of the most perfect hands we could have drawn here. 3 engine cards plus 2 defensive cards. That ends up being like a really good ratio to have with this deck, I find, because you can do a lot with 3 really solid engine cards. And then the other 2 cards, again, very, very high impact, like defensive cards. If we were going second right here, Nibiru Imperm ends up cracking a lot of boards in the game right now. Even like the Tri-Brigade Leerless board, if they really aren't on Oath, which some builds are actually moving away from, at least in the main deck. It can completely out that field. The Sword Soul board will die completely to Nibiru Imperm. And even like VW boards as well. So yeah, let's go ahead and play this one out here. We're going to go ahead and normal summon the Hound, and we'll activate Hound's effect here to go ahead and send a Speedroid card from the deck to the grave. We'll go ahead and send Duplicate here. Since we already have access to Tekatomborg, we have a really good extender. And we can go ahead and activate Duplicate now to go ahead and summon itself, dropping the Hound by 1 level. We could either link here into Rubber Band Shooter, or we could go into the Cork Shooter to add a copy of the Wheel, and then we could use the Recovery Engrave to go ahead and revive the Hound, to then go ahead and link into Rubber Band Shooter as well. Where we could banish a 7, reveal Duke and Piper, and keep going from there. If we want to burn the recovery there a little early. This is a little bit of a tricky situation here. Because we can't really do the banish 6 play because we want to reveal Hound and Terror Top for that. I guess we could reveal like Car Turbo and Terror Top. Or we could just reveal a 5 and then get like Marble Machine Terror Top. That could also work. So I'm going to take a moment to think on this and we'll be back in a second. Alright, so after a little bit of deliberation, I think the move here is going to be actually linking these two off into a copy of Rubber Band Shooter. I did want to go for the Cork Shooter there, but I did not want to have to burn the Recovery or the Tekatomborg that early on to be able to continue to extend into the Rubber Band Shooter. And going for a Gate off of Cork also really doesn't seem too worth it since we already have 2 really good disruptions in our hand anyways. I guess one thing you could argue is if we are blind going first, we technically could have Synchroed Cork Shooter to add the Wheel, and then like pitch the Nibiru off of the Wheel and try to continue to extend that way. But I feel like any of those plays could work. It really is just up to basically player preference at the end of the day. So now that we've linked into our Rubber Band Shooter, what is the play from here going to be? We already have Tekatomborg in hand, which is really, really good. So I think what I want to do from here is banish a 5. And I want to do this so we can reveal, of course, Marble Machine and the Terror Top. And if I can go ahead and pull these out here, we'll do odd Terror Top, even Marble Machine, and we roll the 5. So the Terror Top coming to our hand again. That's completely fine. Really hoping I could just recover back the Terror Top here, but it won't make too big of a difference anyways, because we still have like a nice non-tuner target engraved to revive in the form of Hound, or we can even revive the Marble Machine as well as a level 2 non-tuner to be able to get access to Hagoita. So one thing we could also do here technically too is step right into Auroradon, just by going ahead and activating like Recovery on Hound, or we could summon Tekatomborg and possibly tag it into like a Duke. That could also work, but I do want to try to resolve a Piper Excavation here. So I think I'm actually going to use the additional normal on the Terror Top. Terror Top effect is going to go ahead and net us a search of the Car Turbo. If I could go ahead and find it here. And that'll be a nice sort of like put back target potentially off of something like Hound on the next turn, or the Tekatomborg usually ends up being one of the better things to put back. Now after we search off the Terror Top, we could summon Tekatomborg and tag it out for the Piper, but we can probably get a few more bodies on field to be able to reveal with. And I'm going to summon the Car Turbo first, and then summon Tekatomborg, and then tag that out for the Piper. And Piper will go ahead and excavate us 3 here. And then we can go ahead and charge Warrior Draw and get that. It's basically like a draw 2 mid combo that gets us to Baron with follow-up, which I am really a big fan of. So we're going to go ahead and reveal Hound, Marble, and Ash. So we'll definitely take the Ash there. I mean, we really could take like the Hound or the Marble Machine there, because that's also good follow-up, but we do have Speed Recovery too to get us that sort of same thing. Now we're going to go ahead and synchro these into a copy of Charge Warrior, looking very, very similar to the last couple of hands here, adding a Tether Wolf off of that. Nice draw. And, right here, there is not much else we could do here, other than just go ahead and synchro 10 into Baron, and pretty much call it a day from there. Like, that's still a pretty good end board, ending on Ash, Imperm, Nibiru, plus having Recovery in hand as follow-up. Like, we could use recovery right now, but like there really isn't a reason to, in my book, just because like we've already exhausted a lot of our good extenders at this point in the deck and have gone pretty much through every name except Marble Machine, really, and we don't really need to go for Rubber Band Plane either, since there's not much use for it. The only thing we didn't have access to this turn was Cork Shooter, and I don't think there is a way to access Cork Shooter right now to begin with anyways, so Baron with, 3 interruptions in hand also seems pretty good. Gonna make the deck a little less likely to lose to things like Dark Ruler Droplets, etc. So yeah, let's go ahead and do another test hand here and see if we can end on a slightly different board. Maybe we can go into a Rorodon with one of these test hands so we can sort of showcase what that is like. And it also kind of, I guess, by not going to Rorodon shows that this deck really isn't like a Rorodon Turbo, like a lot of people might think it is. You definitely don't want to just like autopilot into the Rorodon when you don't have to. So we're going to go ahead and put these away here. And going to shuffle up a little bit more before we draw into our next hand and see what we can do. Let's go ahead and draw into yet another test hand for the video here. And let's see what we can make happen. We have Butterfly, Duke, Marble Machine, Dendendaigo Duke, Duplicate, and Ash. So like, pretty good hand here. This is like one of my favorite 2-card combos to do recently, and that is the Butterfly Marble Machine combo. You can also do a similar combo with Griffin Rider that gets you into the Baron before your 5th summon. Same thing can be said here, although it'll depend greatly on a few factors. So we're going to have to go ahead and start by special summoning the Primitive Butterfly. Then we will normal summon the Marble Machine and activate its effects. The nice thing here is that if they decide to go ahead and actually Imperm Ash or Veiler this, we can go ahead and just link into Rubber Band Shooter, and that's one less hand trap we have to worry about as we resolve its effect. So here we're going to go ahead and grab the Tekatomborg. Kind of an early Tekatomborg, but definitely worth it for the most part. So we can go ahead and special summon Tekatomborg, activate its effects here. And we actually have like 2 options with this. Like if this were a Griffin Rider, we could actually go ahead and spec the Red Eye die and synchro into Cork Shooter, add the wheel, and then synchro the Wandering Griffin Rider and the Cork Shooter into the Baron, and then we can go ahead and resolve wheel pitching Duke, which is already really good. We just need to basically not roll a 1, and we're in there. So like this is one option we have here as well. But the option I think I'm going to elect to go for is to Piper very, very early. And you'll find in some hands it just makes more sense to Piper early than trying to like hold the Tekatomborg for much later on in the combo. So we're going to go ahead and excavate 2 here. We find a dice and a recovery. We're definitely going to go ahead and take the recovery there and put that dice at the bottom. And then we're going to go ahead and synchro 10 into Baron de Fleur. Now, what happens if we didn't find any extenders there? Well, the thing to do at that point would probably be just to link off the Butterfly and the Piper into Rubber Band Shooter, leaving the Marble Machine on field as a level 2 body, and then just continue to play from there. Probably revealing Hound and Terror Top, which is probably the same thing that I plan on doing momentarily. We're going to go ahead and not use the Duke in hand. That does nothing. We're going to go ahead and revive the Piper, and then we're going to go ahead and synchro, or not synchro here, but rather link 2 into a copy of Rubber Band Shooter, and we'll activate Rubber Band Shooter's effect here to go ahead and reveal a 6. At this point, not super worried about burning the recovery here because we already have Baron established to fend off any hand traps like Nibiru. And again, if we do have to burn the Baron interrupt, we do have the standby phase bring back Piper to try to dig into more interruptions to kind of replace the one we lost in that of Baron. So we'll do Odd Hound, Even Terror Top here, Odd Hound, and Even Terror Top. So this is where potentially having that recovery in hand still could have came in clutch, but we're not going to need it here so much. We're going to additional normal summon the Hound. We're going to activate its effects to go ahead and dump Duplicate, and then we'll use Duplicate's graveyard effect targeting the Hound. It is now a level 2. And we can go ahead and synchro 3 into Cork Shooter here in just a moment. And that will go ahead and search us out a copy of Wheel, because we already have both copies of Duplicate already out of the deck right now. So we can go ahead and try to extend a little further, hoping we roll into some non-tuner levels like 2. 3 would be nice as well. And 5 could also work, I suppose. Yeah. And 6, obviously. So let's go ahead and roll. For the wheel, we roll a 3. We're going to pitch the Duke, obviously. And here I'm going to go ahead and summon another Hound. Just because that's just more follow-up options to us. And right now, we already used our Piper. So like if we didn't, we could like Duke out the Piper and reveal 4. But instead, we're just going to go ahead and Synchro 6 into the Stardust Charge. Stardust Charge will net us a draw of Valor. And then we're going to go ahead and use Duke here engraved to revive the Shooter. And then we'll Synchro the Shooter and the Warrior into a copy of Shen Shen. So just like that, we have 3 interruptions, 2 in the hand, 1 in the back line. We have the Baron up front, and then we have the Speed Recovery engraved with Terror Top in there. And we also have access to Hound follow-up too. And again, if we had to burn the Baron in the standby phase, we can bring back, or if we had to burn the Baron during our turn, during our opponent's standby phase, we can bring back Piper and reveal 2, revealing us Marble Machine Duke. So we get a normal summon out of that, basically that negate trade there, if we had to use it. So that's it for that test hand there. Let's go ahead and do another one. Alright, so that is enough shuffling here. Let's go ahead and draw into the last test hand of the video. And if you've enjoyed this video, definitely be on the lookout for Friday's video. I'll be doing test hands actually with Aerosol TCG himself. And it is a very, very interesting video, so do not miss that. So we are going to open up here in our last test hand, a rather unfortunate hand. But I mean, this hand still definitely works. No starter is no starter, am I right? So we're going to go ahead and special summon the Primitive Butterfly and burn our normal summon on the Piper, and we're going to use its effect to reveal 1, and we find another Ash. So we're not able to go ahead and go for Baron here. We're going to go ahead and have to link 2, but we're on our 3rd summon. We're at Rubber Band Shooter here, so it's not like they could get rid of it with Nibiru. So we're going to go ahead and banish to 6 now. And we're going to reveal a Terror Top and a Hound, which are conveniently placed right on the bottom of the deck. So that saves me a little bit of time. So now we're going to do odd Terror Top and even Hound. And we do get the Hound to our hand, so this is starting to work out in our favor here. Now we'll burn... See, this is the thing. We don't have to burn our additional normal summon here on the Hound, but I don't want to leave it stuck in the hand to not have as follow-up for next turn. So we might as well use it now. We'll get the additional normal summon here, and we can go ahead and use its effect to go ahead and send either Duke here, because we could definitely send Duke here. But what am I trying to end on right now? Definitely Baron. I don't know if we can get to Shen Shen as well. Yeah, I think at this point I'm just gonna go ahead and take it upon myself to actually dump the Duke. And not dumping Duplicate will allow us to use the Duplicate we currently already have as follow-up for the next turn. I was going to send Duplicate and go for Korok to add Wheel, but at that point, like, the Wheel summons could potentially be awkward if we don't roll well, and they'll be just kind of bodies sitting on our field. Yeah, and I'd rather just, like, not burn our Duplicate there if we don't have to. So now we'll use the recovery. And we're going to revive the Terror Top. Terror Top is going to trigger to go ahead and search us a copy of Tekatomborg. And here we're going to go ahead and use Tekatomborg to tag out into Dice. And then we're going to do our Dice effect on Terror Top and go ahead and make it a level 2. It's weird that we did not get to go into Auroradon at all in this video, but again, just as goes to show that you do not need... nor should you be going into it in every hand, because it just isn't necessary. But it does come up sometimes if you are trying to play through hand traps. So we're going to use Korok to revive the materials here. And then we're going to use Red Eye Die on the Terror Type here, making it a level 4. And that is going to go ahead and secure us access to the Hagoita, which is just a great extender and great follow-up, especially if we have Hound access to in the grave. And here... we can go ahead and Synchro into a 8, which will be Crystal Wing. So we have 1 Crystal Wing there. So we do have, again, a few options at this point. I did have to take a moment to think. So we could Duke out the Piper and then bring out Hagoita and Synchro 9 for Shen Shen. Or we could duke out the Corkscrewder, bring out Hagoita, and Synchro 8 for another Crystal Wing. We could duke out the Corkscrewder and Synchro with the Hound and the Corkscrewder for something like Raptite if we're playing it, or we can make a Charge Warrior to draw an additional card. Or the option that I'm thinking of going for, well, another option on top of that, I should say, is we duke out the Piper and then bring out Hagoita, and then Synchro the Piper and the Hound into Clearwing Fast Dragon or Clearwing, and then we leave Hagoita on field as sort of an interruption by being able to increase the levels of all monsters on the field. And again, Sword Soul, PK, or VW, that could be a very, very strong interruption and something to consider. But what I think I'm going to do here is actually use Duke Engrave to bring out the dice to target the Hound and make it a level 4, and then we can bring out the Hagoita and Synchro 1, 5, and a 4 for a total of 10 to go for a copy of Baron. So just like that, we end Crystal Wing with Baron, a duplicate in the back line, and an Ash or 2 in the hand here. It is unfortunate that we did see another copy, but you know, it is what it is. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 interruptions, plus we do have follow-up in the form of Speed Recovery, Hound, and Hagoita Engrave. And we'll also have Duplicate follow-up too, since we did not use its graveyard effect this turn. So yeah, that is going to do it for this test hand video. If I messed up some of my words or maybe didn't make the best plays, I apologize. I'm filming this very, very late at night because I just don't have an option to film it at another time before I leave. So I hope you guys found this video to be informative. If you liked it, please don't forget to leave a like and share it with a friend as well. And don't forget to check out the video I'm going to be uploading on Friday with Aerosol. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you want to see more of my content, click on one of the videos popping up at the bottom of the screen right now. And as always, a very tired Winter Kills signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one. And like always, a huge thank you goes to our Divine Level channel members, and they currently are Cadillacs84, Pony Start, Key Stitchers, Tweeter0226, and Black Ninja Money. Thank you guys again so much for your extremely generous support. If we do have any new members join, they will not be added to the end card until I get back, because a lot of the videos that have been going up and are going to be going up have been uploaded far in advance. So if you are a new member and you don't see your name on here, don't worry, it will get added in as soon as I return home to be able to actually edit and modify the end screen. So yeah, thank you guys, and thank you to all our members.